a bully from a famous 80s movie was also in this iconic band's music video. The band I'm talking about is Van Halen, and we're gonna get into that music video in a little bit. But first, I'm going to tell you some things about Van Halen. So, Eddie Van Halen could not read sheet music. I didn't know that, but I thought it was pretty cool. And before they blew up, Gene Simmons of Kiss produced some demo tapes for them and flew them from Los Angeles to New York to record them in Electric Ladyland Studios. And then he couldn't find any record labels for them to be signed to, so he gave up. And another cool fact about Van Halen is that Eddie Van Halen, who you probably know played guitar for the band, and Alex Van Halen, his brother, the drummer, originally played the opposite instruments. One day, Eddie Van Halen heard Alex Van Halen playing the Ferrari song "Wipe Out" on the drums, so they decided to switch. And the fact that I was talking about with the bully from a movie was from the 1983 movie A Christmas Story. And the bully in the movie played Michael Anthony in the younger version of Michael Anthony in the video for Hot for Teacher. And Van Halen, they also wrote in their contract a clause saying that no brown M&Ms were allowed near the backstage area. And this was to ensure that the people working for them read the contract to ensure the safety of the audience, the crew, and the band members. And when Dimebag Darrell from Pantera died back in 2004, Eddie Van Halen gave him his original 1979 Bumblebee guitar to be buried with. That's pretty cool. So they asked for a replica of it to be made, and Eddie Van Halen just decided to give him the original thing. And you've probably heard of Valerie Bertinelli. If you don't know, she's a famous actress. But from 1981 to 2007, she was married to Eddie Van Halen. And they had one child together, Wolfgang Van Halen, who would replace Michael Anthony in the band. And Eruption wasn't supposed to be on their first album. Eruption was just something that that Eddie Van Halen performed at their live shows, and their producer asked for it to be recorded in the studio, and he did. And the last fact is that Eddie Van Halen built his own studio and called it, I think it was he built the studio at his house, called it 5150, which is the Los Angeles police code for an escaped mental patient. And it was also the title of their 7th album from 1986, and their first album with Sammy Hagar. Well, that's all for today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Bye.